Hey, I'm Trajan, joined with a man who really needs no introduction, Chef Roy Yamaguchi. Thank you so much for joining me.
Pleasure, pleasure.
Chef Roy is a master chef. He's the owner of Roy's restaurant food chain. He's a winner of the James Beard Award, and he's also a cookbook author. You want to talk about food? Seems kind of obvious. I don't know.
No, yeah, sounds good. Yeah, sounds good. Whenever you're ready.
What other interests do you have? I mean, when you're not cooking, what else are you doing?
Well, there's a lot of things I like to do, but I'm not good at it, so it makes a difference on whether I do it or not. But I really enjoy drumming.
Drumming,
so
really?
yes, so I have a couple of drum sets at home. I have one set up in my room, but I don't really get a chance to play it as much as I would like to. I used to play a lot when I was in high school. Used to have a band and stuff, so, but I mean, today, just for, I guess, relaxation and stuff, I'll try to get out down to my little room and play. The other is golfing. I actually do, I actually do better in slicing food than I do with my slices in golf. So that's another problem I have there, but whenever I get a chance, I'd like to do some of those things. I like to exercise, so I do a lot of that, but other than that, just cooking is probably what I enjoy the most.
So, did you have a band when you played drums? Did you form a band, or did you play? Because you grew up in Japan as well.
Yeah.
So, did you play taiko? Was it a traditional Japanese form?
It was. I used to play drums in a rock and roll band.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and my father and my mother used to be our, I guess, our driver. So wherever we played, we would load up the car with my drum set, and my brother played guitar. So.
Oh, the family band.
Yeah, family band, and we used to play in different bases in Japan. So we used to live on a base called Camp Zama, and we used to play the teen clubs, once in a while there. And then we would travel to other bases and play some of their teen events. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And the greatest time we had one time was, because we didn't have a singer, didn't have a really good singer. But there's one event that we were playing at, this one gig. This guy comes knocking at this window on the side of our where we were playing, and he goes, "Hey, can you let me in?" So I said, "Yeah, I'll let you in." He goes, "But if you let me in, I'll sing for you guys." And his name was Lamar, and he was a great singer. And he only played with us once. That was it. But other than that, we didn't have a singer. Our band was okay. Never really did well, but hey, it was fun just getting together and just jamming and having fun.
Yeah. I always noticed that you have an inquisitive look on your face. You're always looking around, looking at other dishes, asking, "Oh, what's that? What's good today?" Does your curiosity, does that drive you in any way?
Yeah, I think it does. From when I was a little kid, I was always curious about a lot of different things. But as far as food goes, when I go to a restaurant, I never criticize. That's one thing I don't do, because I truly believe that everybody has their own way of expressing food. So the most important thing to me in a restaurant, for myself, is just being able to relax. When I go out to eat, I don't go out to really explore, I don't go out to criticize, number one. So I go there to relax, and then with that, I enjoy what each restaurant has to offer. The chef really has his ideas of creating something special for his own or her own restaurant, and so I try and order some of that. And then I like to see what other people eat, and because I can't eat everything, so hopefully if I see something that seems to be looks great, hopefully I would be able to order that when I'm there, or maybe at my next visit.
Creating a dish, can you take me through the process? I know actually recently I was just watching this thing on, Eric Ripert? From Chef.
Yeah, of course.
I was watching his show, and he has a whole round table of chefs, and they design and they plan every detail. What is your creative process?
Well, it's the same thing. People would ask me for different, it depends on what it's for, but, usually for our menu, or if someone asked me to create something for them for a special menu, I would do the same thing, where I would come up with sort of a menu that I feel that I can execute, and of course the ingredients is extremely important, and I try to use as much local ingredients as possible. So that's number one. Try to make it really all the ingredients from Hawaii, especially if I'm doing a menu here. And then with that, work with my chefs to see, what type of ingredients I can also add on to it, and what type of flavors, would be good for the entire dinner. So starting with the menu first, getting the items all together, and then I would put a team together and say, hey, listen, why don't we figure out what else we can do, and why don't we try to make this dish in our minds first, and then we'll go into the kitchen and make a sample of these dishes.
So it's in here first before it's on there. You're never just throwing stuff on a plate.
No,
or
no,
just
no, no.
It's never like that.
Well, I mean, sometimes it is if you're in the middle of an execution, but to me, the way I operate is that I have a food bank, and in my mind I can see flavors. So in my mind I see a lot of flavors, see a lot of colors, and I put the dish together in my mind, and I see, and I can see the taste, and I can taste it, and then I can see the ingredients, and from that point on I'll write it all down, and then from that point on I'll get together with the team and then execute those ideas.
I have a food bank in my mind. I love that. That's great. Are you doing any cooking at home? I know I used to be a cook, and when I used to cook all day at the restaurant, the last thing I wanted to do when I got home was cook. Are you the same way, or are you cooking at home?
If I cook at home, I cook more of barbecues, things like that. Very, very simple: steamed fish, fried fish, barbecues, and then just simple vegetables, or maybe even a noodle dish. I don't really get into executing fancy dishes. Sometimes if I'm at home, I will do some experimentation. And make some things like that, but not necessarily a full-blown fancy.
Yeah. Does your wife do any of the cooking, or is she just not allowed even in the kitchen?
No, she's allowed, but she's not allowed, but that's about the extent.
So you started cooking at a really young age. What got you into cooking? What appealed to you about it, especially?
You know what? When I was 16, I used to, number one, going back further than that, my grandfather loved to cook. And my grandfather owned a restaurant in Maui.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
And I guess with that, my father loved to cook. So, when I was a kid growing up, my father would do most of the cooking, and he would kind of, take us places, and, we'll go to the ports and get fish, fish markets and stuff like that. So, I got an interest in cooking from there on. So when I was a kid, when I was like 15, 16 years old, I would cook some, lunches and stuff for my dad, and, I would cook for my friends to come over when they came over. So starting from that point on, I had some interest. So when I was about 17, I took home ec in high school. So, a friend of mine said, hey, let's take home ec. And I said, what is that? He goes, hey, we can meet a lot of girls. So I took home ec.
So a lot of good ideas started.
Yeah, that's where a good idea started. So I took home ec and really enjoyed it. And so that's how I got involved in cooking.
Since you've been cooking for a long time, and you almost was a big successful rock star drummer, have you ever questioned your career path, or maybe thought at some point that, maybe I should try something else, or was it just chef all the way through?
It's been chef all the way through. Actually, at one point in my life when I was younger, when I was about 17, before I got into cooking, I thought about going into electronics. But in class I made it was back then, you would, all these like televisions and stereo equipment was made with tubes, so they had instead of computerized things or whatever they have now, so they had these tubes, and I made this device where you can, it's not really, I didn't invent it, it was already made, but I made this equipment that you can test and see whether those tubes are good or not.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and then but I actually crossed the wires, and the instructor said if he would have plugged it in, it would have blew up. So
okay, chef. I'm now a chef.
so chef was the answer. Yeah, chef was the answer. And I also wanted to be a race car driver.
Oh yeah.
At one point, I really wanted to be a race. When I first saw a Trans Am, Pontiac Trans Am, I thought, hey, that would be great to be racing one of those. So, but Yeah, I had some maniac friends that were car drivers, so
Oh, well.
race car drivers.
Oh, nice. Now you just drive fast?
Yeah, I try not to, but you know, the best comes out, and you have to speed a little.
Yeah.
Once in a while, not get caught, of course.
What is it like to work for you when you're breaking in a chef? Would you, or you think you're tough on them, or how is it?
Well, it's two sides. You have to be tough because to me, people have to have discipline. So it's always nice to be friends, but in any environment, and have a friendship that you can build on. But it's still important that the people that come to work for us have a good amount of discipline so that they can not only work hard but work right, and work smart.
So 1 being maybe Martha Stewart, 10 being Gordon Ramsay. Where are you?
Yeah, I'm in the middle.
In the middle.
Yeah, I'm in the middle somewhere. I'm not. But when I was a lot younger, I used to be a lot tougher.
Mm.
But you realize that toughness isn't always the answer.
Right.
And you just have to be smart about how you act and what you say and how you mold people.
So you own 30 plus restaurants?
Yeah, we have 37 restaurants, 31 restaurants. Not I own all of them, but we have agreements and so forth. So,
Is it franchise? Is Roy's name franchise?
Yeah, we have some franchise. We own some of them. We're partners with some, so forth. So.
Yeah, it blows my mind. I could never think. I mean, running one is hard enough, and then running 30, I don't.
Yeah, well,
I don't even...
the way I look at it has always been that restaurants are, it's defined by, the team you have. So I always say that, our success is always built on teamwork and the people we have working with us on a day-to-day basis. So we have some great people, people that have a lot of passion, that care, that want to see us succeed, sees the vision, wants to make a commitment and making things work well, and just, working hard to make our dreams come true. So we have, we're very fortunate, and we have a lot of loyal, staff members that have been with us for a long time that continue to be with us. So that's a great thing.
What's your junk food when you're picking out? What's Chef Roy eating?
Junk food. I always like a fast food hamburger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
McDonald's.
But more important than that, I guess my go-to. I don't know if it's junk, but my go-to fast food is Popeyes.
Popeyes.
Yeah, Popeyes is a great quality.
Yeah.
To me,
I haven't been to Popeyes in forever.
Popeyes is great. I mean, if you take a look at a chicken, and it's crunchy. I mean, it's because you have to understand that fast food has a lot of technology built into it. So they can make things and have it last a little longer or a lot longer than if I were to do it without the technology. So they have it down to a science on what's in the batter. For instance, Popeyes, they have a secret batter. They have it timed where you cook it for so long. They have the concentration of that heat lamp at a certain temperature where you can hold something for a certain amount of time without drying the chicken out, and also keeping it crispy. And so how often they should cook it and so forth. So they have all that data and knowledge. So you can make things to the masses at a better controlled environment. So it comes out better. So I really appreciate their efforts and what they do, and like Popeyes for me is definitely a go-to place.
Yeah, it's making me hungry actually. Popeye sounds really good right now. I can really. Is there any food that you hate or you don't like, or that you just refuse to cook with or won't cook with?
No, I cook everything. I enjoy experimenting with a lot of different types of foods. So it doesn't matter if it's a certain ingredient or a certain type of cuisine. I just enjoy cooking a lot of different things. So some things are a lot harder to cook. Like trying to make like a calf's brain, or a lamb's brain, where it's nice and maybe crispy on the outside and delicate on the inside, things like that. But other than that, it's I love to experiment and taste a lot of different
Would
things.
you ever put that on your menu? Or
No, no. I mean, I've done it before.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, yeah. I've done it before, but of course, not everybody likes to eat it.
Yeah.
So, it's
kind of a niche.
yeah, it's kind of I mean, there's certain people that you might want to I might want to do it when I have someone say, hey, why don't you make me something special?
Yeah.
But if it's on the spot, I don't have caps laying around, so I can't do anything. But
Right.
if I have time to make a certain dish, with a certain amount of lead time, of course, doing
Yeah.
something like that is pretty good.
Is there any trends going on right now in food that maybe pleases you or upsets you?
No. The trend today has always been, well, the trend, it's not really a trend, it should be a staple, but, I mean, farm to table is extremely important to me. And, a lot of people are starting to do it, but yet it's been around for, thousands of years in the different parts of the world where, you really, pick your food from the land and, I mean, you cook it right there and, you make something of it. So rather than having it from, somewhere far away. So what I try to do is work with our farmers. I have a good friend, Dean Okimoto, who has a farm in Waimanalo, and which is only
Nalo Farms.
Nalo Farms,
Yeah.
and he's right there. And so we're able to get good stuff. Like they'll pick it in the morning and they'll deliver it here. So and there are other types of vegetables that we can get from these farmers around the state. So it's pretty cool to have that access. Rather than buying something from the mainland, getting it shipped,
Yeah.
and you lose the nutritional value, and plus it gets old. So
Yeah.
nothing better than to get something fresh from across the street and having it that day. So
Yeah, I heard you frequent the KCC Farmers Market too.
yeah, I go to farmers market, and Dean just brought over some stuff just the other day from his farmers market over at KCC. So we try to do that also and see some of the other great farmers around. You have like Mall Farms.
Oh, yeah.
And they do a great job in what they do. So Hawaii's the people in Hawaii don't really realize it, and they should really give these farmers a standing ovation, because we have a lot of great farmers out here that are just doing great work, and unfortunately there's a lot of people that are getting out of the farming business because it's a tough business.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
not only you're fighting with the weather. Sometimes you don't have the water. You have too much water sometimes with the rain, flooding. High winds, and they're always up early, and it's a lot of hard work. But to have fresh ingredients like that here in our backyard is it's awesome. And we should be really happy that we're able to have this type of environment that we can live in and be so close to it, where sometimes if you're on the mainland and you're in some parts of the south or west or east, wherever, or north, wherever you are, there may be farmlands, but they might not be farming any of it. Or you can be living in a city where farms are far, far, far away, and what you're eating is something that's been around for a while. So we're very fortunate here.
I agree. Is there any chefs you look up to? Is there anyone?
I mean, one especially is Nobu Matsuhisa, of Nobu, and Nobu's restaurant and Matsuhisa restaurant. We've been friends for almost 30 years. And,
Yeah, it's really good quality.
Yeah, and we've been friends for almost 30 years, and he's really a warm, he's a great chef, but to me, there's a lot of great chefs. And what differentiates to me a great chef and someone like Nobu is his character, his personality, that's just great. And to me, I love his personality and his character more than his cooking, even though his cooking is great, which makes him, somebody that I really respect and honor and, like to be with.
Is there anything else that you want to achieve, or any goals that you set for yourself?
Well, I set goals all the time, because I'm getting older, but to me, life is full of goals you can make and promises you can make and hopefully keep them and achieve. So on a day-to-day basis, I try to achieve something. I try to learn something every day, achieve something every day, and other than that, I try to do what I can for others, and you know, it's great that, you know, we've been, you know, knock on wood, that we've been successful to a point where we can, you know, kind of contribute to our community, because that's one of the things that we set to do from day one. So, you know, it's you know, do all good things, but if I really picked a couple, though, you know, I mean, I wish I was a good drummer. I wish I was a good drummer. I'd be jumping on that stage to drum with like Journey or something, you know.
Well, it's not too late, you know. It's not too late.
To make the long story short, yeah, I got a chance to play with Gene Simmons, and we played about 20 minutes, which was great.
Nice.
And then
Drum solo?
No, drum solo, just to tag along, just, you know, keep the beat going. And I also played with oh, she was on Star Search, not Star Search. What's the one where everybody plays? They have it every year.
American Idol?
American Idol.
She won it? She's one of the winners?
No, she was a second.
Black girl?
Yeah.
No, I know her name. I don't know. I can see her face, but I don't know her name. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But you know, I played a lot of, you know, with maybe four pretty interesting.
Hey, that's mission accomplished to me. I mean, you got to rock out Gene Simmons, and hey, that's
yeah.
Not everyone gets to do that.
So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I played with a guy from AC/DC too.
Oh, which one?
The bass player.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cliff.
Nice. I don't know the bass player. I didn't know Bon Scott. And what's his name? The guitarist.
Angus.
Angus.
Yeah. You know, because you know, at one point some of those guys lived in Hawaii.
Oh really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, everyone lives in Hawaii. Everyone comes here.
It's pretty interesting.
Oh. Yeah, you're a rock star.
Yeah. No, I don't know about rock star. Rock star wannabe.
Do you have any advice for young chefs that's just getting started, maybe?
You know, advice is kind of hard because, you know, everybody works their own way, and it's just, you know, to me is that the whole thing is, you know, if you have the, you know, number one, you have to have the passion. If you don't have passion of wanting to do good stuff, you know, to cook, work long hours, to create something, you know, it's hard to be in this industry because it's just a grueling industry where, you know, it's just, you're in the kitchen, it's hot, you're sweaty, you know, you're smoky. I mean, you know, usually working where everybody else is having fun, and you know, it's long hours, and you know, it's, you know, pay isn't always the greatest. So, you know, I mean, you have to really love it and have that desire to really be someone you want to be in this industry. So that's number one. And other than that, it's just, you know, just a lot of hard work, you know, and work with a lot of people, work with a lot of great chefs, and, you know, go to school. I'm a firm believer that you go to a cooking school, build a foundation, and after that you work with great chefs and put your time in and learn as much as you can, and you know, save some money and travel and experience, you know, the different cultures of all the worlds, and you know, soak all of that in, and you know, and make a good career out of it.
Yeah, you travel a lot. You're all over the map.
Yeah, I've been fortunate to be able to travel a lot as being in this industry, and I think the last time I counted, I've been to about 38, almost 40 different
Yeah, every
countries.
time I was emailing, no, I'm in Japan, I'm over here, I'm in there.
Yeah, so, you know, I've been able to do that through cooking. You know, a lot of it has been through cooking, where I get invited to different countries to cook too. So, you know, it's great that, you know, that I've been able to experience all of that and continue to do so, whether it be work or through, you know, just for pleasure.
What's your favorite country, if you could be anywhere?
You know, it's so different. Different countries are so different. But you know, I love Israel.
Israel.
Yeah, Israel is a great country.
What was it about Israel?
The people. You know, you have to understand that it's always, you know, something going on in Israel.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, it's you know, I mean, a lot of hectic things that go on in life on a day-to-day basis. But, you know, people are real passionate about life there, and they have some great restaurants and you know, great nightlife. And, you know, abundance of vegetables, you know, and it's just great. and you know, so, but you know, I mean, depending on, but you know, I mean, all these different countries are just great. I mean, Korea, I mean, you know, Japan, of course. You know, Japan is just an incredible food country.
Yeah.
You know, and even in Korea, Korea loves freshness. I mean, you know, you go to restaurants and um, you select your own fish, your own shellfish.
It's still moving, but it's
Yeah,
only
yeah,
a
yeah.
few minutes before you order it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's still moving, and then you catch it, and then they'll fillet it there, and then they'll bring it to the table. I mean, it's just incredible.
Can't get fresher than that.
Yeah, and then you know, Thailand has a lot of great flavors, and you know, Vietnamese. I mean, the cuisine of all these different countries are just very, very special. So, you know, there's not really one country that I would like to, you know, have food from all the time. But you know, all these different countries are just incredible. I mean, having a dinner in the middle of the bush, in South Africa, you know, and in Singita, with all the animals around you. I mean, it's an experience. I mean, it's pretty good stuff. You know, or you know, you're on the beach and or on the water in Thailand, somewhere in Phuket or wherever you might be, or you know, somewhere in Vietnam, you know, and you have some great Vietnamese street food from a vendor, and you know, in these you know, markets, you know, in Vietnam or in Singapore. I mean, it's great.
You're known as an innovator in Hawaiian-fusion food. And that was going on in the 80s, am I right, around that era?
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, when I started, you know, it's Hawaiian fusion, you know, Pacific Rim, you know, these are all the type of flavors that I've incorporated in my cooking from when I was young, because when I first started in this industry, after I got out of cooking school and worked in a lot of different places with chefs, when I wanted to create something for myself, you know, I went to my roots. So naturally getting trained and working in French restaurants, and then going back to my roots in Japan, and you know, the traveling of some of the little countries that I went to back then, and then my father, of course, being born and raised in Hawaii, cooked a lot of flavors from Hawaii on our plates when we were, you know, kids growing up. So you know, I incorporated all those flavors of my father's cooking, and then the Japanese, and then the French, and then what I learned in school, and you know, what I learned from all these different chefs. So that's when I created what's called Hawaiian, you know, Pacific Rim Hawaiian fusion.
So really, you're just bringing together everything that you knew.
Yeah.
Childhood and
yeah, with a lot of dignity and respect, because you have to respect the cultures of different countries in order to be able to cook. Because you know what, if you take a look at a lot of these countries, you know, whether it be Korea or Japan or Vietnam, you know, all these countries have their own cooking, and it's the type of cooking that they do, whether it be in a restaurant or whether it be at home. And then you have, you know, some of these individuals like myself that, you know, kind of mix and mingle all of these different cooking ideas and traditions. But, you know, we have to respect and really understand why they do it that way in certain countries. And then from that point on, try to, you know, incorporate that type of ingredients and that style to make it, you know, kind of like my own.
Yeah, I like that it comes from that place and not just, oh, I have to do something different, you know, let me throw this together. Because in my mind, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
I
well, that's what a lot of people do, but for me, I don't do it. I you know, I understand, you know, what makes a great curry. You know, I'll try to, and then I'll tell to myself, you know, do I want maybe a creamy or maybe a Thai style curry, or do I want a curry like in what they do in India, or you know, dry curry, or you know, things like that. And then I'll start mixing those flavors from that point on, whether it's dry or that has coconut milk, or you know, tomatoes, whatever it may be.
And what are you working on at the moment? Is there something in particular, a special dish, or something, or anything else just in your life? Like what are you doing?
Well, I mean, you know, there's a lot of things I do, but you know, I mean, I don't know. It's just I have different projects that are along the way here and there, and I just work on them, and hopefully it'll come into fruition. And 'cause sometimes you do a project but it may not launch.
Yeah.
So
Familiar with that.
I'd rather not talk about it and jinx myself.
Was there any obstacles that you had along your career that maybe sidetracked you or almost sidetracked you, or that was really difficult that you had to get over?
That's always obstacles, but that's just the way life is. I always say, concentrate on the final victory, not on the obstacles you find along the way. Just life is full of ups and downs, and drawbacks, and you just have to deal with it. And that's what makes people who they are. We've had projects where we put money into it, and we think it's going to be great, and we build a restaurant, and we end up closing it. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's just how life is.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't worry about it. You just gotta just continue to move on, and just do what you do best. And to me, I don't doubt myself. It's just that sometimes maybe it's a wrong place, wrong time, wrong idea, but it doesn't mean that it was a failure. It just wasn't the right time, probably. So just have to continue to move on, and sometimes you revisit that idea later on in life, and and then it works. A lot of it's timing, so you learn from experience, and I don't put my head down. I just keep it where it is, and then move forward. Another day.
All right, Chef Roy, thank you so much for the time. Appreciate
Pleasure.
it.
Thank you. Pleasure. Thanks for the interview.